Okay. So, last week, we learned how to change logs to exponents and exponents to logs because exponents and logs are related. Okay? They're related. How are they related? Does anybody remember? Yes, they're inverses of each other, right? Okay? Logs and exponents are inverses of each other. And using a logarithm is sometimes easier than using an exponent in the math world out there. Okay, so also remember here, you can change an exponent to a log. They use a b, a p, and an n, a base, a power, and then a number. Okay? Base to the number and then power. So that would be like log base b of n equals p, if you want to write it like that. And of course, you see it written over here. Okay? And some of you really probably need to draw your circles. Okay? Your little circles. Okay? Sometimes I still do. Okay? If you wanted to change this log to an exponent, it'd be b to the p power equals a number. Okay? So here's some hints too. N can't be negative. So it can't be a negative number there or there. B is greater than 0 and B cannot be equal to 1. And I'm going to clarify that a little bit with some of my teacher friends. So they give us some more practice changing logs to exponents and exponents to logs. So let's practice that again since it's been a whole week since we've done that. It says write each equation in log form. So reading the directions sometimes helps you not go into panic mode. Okay? So 10, we're going to change this to a log. So log base 10, make sure you're writing that 10 down low, okay, and smaller, of 1,000 equals 3. 10, 1,000, and then back to the 3. Okay? So log base, what? 7, good, of 49 equals 2. 2. That's okay. Okay. Write each equation in exponential form. So now they've given us logs, and we're writing these to exponential form. Now, when it doesn't have a base, that's a 10. When your log doesn't have a base, it's a given 10. Okay? 10 squared equals 100. Is that true? Is 10 squared 100? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Okay. 2 to the 4th power equals 16. Is 2 to the 4th power 16? 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Yes. Okay. Little practice there. Now this says evaluate each expression. Okay, so if you look back up here, when they're in log form, okay, you end up with an equals p. That's your power. So that's what we're going to do down here. Okay? We're going to say equals p. Now we can just do the circle thing, okay? 2 to the p power equals 8. So we're trying to solve for p. Okay? We've done this before. We've gotten, in order to solve for the exponents, the bases have to be the same. If the bases are the same, then the exponents are also the same, right? So we're going to keep 2 to the p power. What are we going to change 8 to? Yeah, there's your clue right here. It's going to be 2 to the something because they're both going to be 2. So that's your clue. It's going to be 2 to the something power, to the 3rd power. Remember, I've told you, please memorize that 8 is 2 to the 3rd power. Now, because the bases are the same, now we can say the exponents are also the same. So p equals 3. Okay? Okay. So here, we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to say equals p. So then we're going to change it to an exponent. 7 to the p power equals 1 over 49. 7 to the p power equals 1 over 49. Okay, so I've got to get my 49 to be a 7, right? There's your clue. So 7 to the p power equals, what's 49? 7 squared. Okay, but that's still not quite good enough, is it? We don't need a fraction. So we have to change this around a little bit. We need to move him up here so that he won't be a fraction anymore. And when we move exponents around, what do we do to them? We change their sign. If it's positive, we make it negative. If it's negative, we make it positive. This one is positive, okay? So we're going to make him negative. We change his sign. So now, and I think a few of y'all were kind of struggling with that a little bit on the last test maybe. Now the 7s, the bases are the same, so the exponents now are the same, right? So we can say p equals -2. Okay, questions? Okay, on the next page. Okay, solve each equation by changing to exponential form. So we're going to be figuring out what that x is right there, okay? So we're going to change it to exponential form. That's what it says, by changing to exponential form. 9 to the 3rd power equals x. We're trying to figure out what x equals. Okay, what is 9 to the 3rd power? That's 9 times 9 times 9. You can type that on your calculator, or you can do 9 caret top 3. What do you get? 729. I don't think we've had that one yet, have we? So now we know what x is. We figured out what that x is right there. Okay? Okay. 3 to the 2x power equals 81. So we've got to make these bases the same. Here we didn't have to. We didn't have to make the bases the same. They already told us what x was. We just had to do some calculations there. But here we need to make the bases the same. This 3 is your clue. That means they both need to be 3s. How do you change an 81 to a 3 to the what power? To the what? 4th power. Okay, that's another one. Start memorizing. So, just start learning some of these things. Y'all know 81 is 9 times 9. And if you break those 9s down, you get 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, right? Okay? Okay, now that the bases are the same, we can say the powers are equal. And we can just solve for x. We can say 2x equals 4. Divide by 2, so x equals 2. That x right there is 2. There'll be a 4 over here. 3 to the 4th power would be 81. Okay? Okay, solve each equation by changing to exponential form. So we're still doing the same thing. So what base goes right here? A 10, because there is no base. Remember we had that a minute ago? So 10 to the 3rd power equals all of that. 10 to the 3rd power equals 5x minus 10. So here's our x right here. So all we need to do is just solve this. But we need to kind of make this a little better, easier to work with. What is 10 times 10 times 10? 1,000. Okay, so now we just solve it. So you add 10 to both sides. So you get 1,010. And divide by 5. So what does x equal? Yeah, 202. Okay, so here, y to the 1/3 equals 4. So this one's a little different, okay? Here's our y that we're solving for. We don't need that 1/3 there. We want a plain y, don't we? Plain y. How do I get that 1/3 to go away? Multiply him by what? By 3. Multiply him by his reciprocal, then he'll go away. Okay? If I multiply him by 3, like a 1/3 times a 3, if you multiply straight across the top and straight across the bottom, you get 3/3, and then you get 1. Okay? But if I raise this to the power of 3, I've also got to raise this to the power of 3, right? What you do to one side of the equal sign, you have to do to the other side of the equal sign. So now I do have a y equals, I have 4 to the 3rd power. What's 4 to the 3rd power? What's 4 times 4 times 4? 64. It would be a good idea to know, 2 times 2 times 2. 2 to the 3rd power. 3 times 3 times 3. 4 times 4 times 4. 5 times 5 times 5. Maybe even some more. But that would be a start for some, y'all to know those. And a few of y'all in here do probably know those. Okay. Okay. 2 more, I think, and then we're done. Okay. Okay. So we're trying to solve for this x right here. What do you see first that we might could do? The 22, right? We need to get rid of that 22. How do we get rid of it? Yeah, it's a positive 22, so we're going to subtract 22 from both sides of the equal sign. And we get 2 times the log of 3 equals, of x equals 8. Now, what do you see? What else can we do? Yeah, let's divide by 2, because this is really times right there. So we can divide by 2 until we have the log isolated. We've used that word before in this year. Okay, kind of isolate all that log stuff. Okay, now we can do the circle thing and hopefully figure out what x is. Okay, so we can do 3 to the 4th power equals x. So we don't have to do much of anything. What is 3 to the 4th power? We've already had that this morning. 81. Okay? So x is 81. Okay? Now, your number 12 and my number 12 are different. So, okay. Log base 2 of x plus 22 equals 8. Okay. Okay, so what do we do first? Oh, I think I jumped a step. Silly me. Okay. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Let's see. Pen. Okay. 22 equals 30. Okay, now what? What do we do first? Yeah. Subtract the 22. And then that leaves us log base 2 of x equals 8. Now what do we do? Now that you just have the log, what do you do? What do we do here once we got the log, guys? We just did the circle thing, okay? So do the circle thing. Don't be afraid. Okay, and so you get 2 to the 8th power equals x. What is 2 to the 8th power? 256. Okay, so definitely leave your notes out. Don't put your notes up. Use your notes for examples on what type of problem it is. Okay? Hang on.